Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's afternoon program. As part of one of the South African Bar Association's initiatives, the association hosts a speaker on a weekly basis to deal with a legal topic intended to assist young practitioners with training and development, which is enshrined within the core values that we hold as an organization. It is an honor and privilege to host Evidence James from SAFLII. By way of providing a brief introduction to Evidence James, who shall be presenting on behalf of SAFLII, Evidence has cum laude his LLB degree from the University of Fort Hare. He has a Master's of Laws specializing in taxation law from the University of Cape Town, and he is currently completing his doctorate in philosophy in commercial law, also from the University of Cape Town. He currently is the content editor of SAFLII, the founding editor of Young Lawyers Association of Zimbabwean Law Journal, and a freelance research reviewer and editor. By way of providing a brief introduction of SAFLII, the South African Legal Information Institute, or better known to all of us as SAFLII, publishes legal information for free public access, which comprises mainly of case law from the Republic of South Africa. SAFLII also hosts legal materials from other countries in the region which are obtained through partnerships, collaborative efforts, and more recently through linking to other legal information institutions established in these regions. The SAFLII is an online repository and legal information from South Africa that aims to promote the rule of law and judicial accountability by publishing legal material for open access in line with the objectives of the global free access to law movement. SAFLII also hosts legal material from other countries, as I reiterate, SAFLII's projects have been commended by the South African Chief Justice's Forum, the South African Parliament, as well as the Office of the Chief Justice. SAFLII was previously a project of the South African Constitutional Court Trust and is currently in operation from within the Department of Public Law at the University of Cape Town. It is the largest online free access collection of journals, judgments, and legislation from South Africa. Evidence James from SAFLII shall be addressing us on a topic titled SAFLII, Its Relevance in the South African Legal Landscape. In terms of housekeeping, during the address, all participants shall automatically be muted. After the address, there will be a question and answer session whereby all participants shall be unmuted so that they are given the opportunity to ask their questions directly to Evidence James. Those participants that have a question relevant to the topic, kindly raise your hand whereby you are given the opportunity to pose such question. Alternatively, type your question within a chat box using the Microsoft Teams platform to pose your question to Evidence James. Without any further ado, I now hand it over to you. Over to you, Evidence.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for that detailed introduction and the background about SAFLII. If you may allow, I am going to share, I've prepared a presentation that I'm going to share with colleagues here.
Sorry, Evidence, sorry to interject. Your camera is currently switched off just for...
No, thanks. Thanks. I see that. So I will share my screen just now. Okay. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think I've been introduced quite in a detailed manner. I don't think I need to say anything in addition to that. So for today, we're looking at SAFLII and its relevance in the South African landscape. Before I can begin, I would like to say thank you to Ahmed and your team for this time and the platform, the opportunity. I'm joining a long list of great, speakers that have come before me. So this is really an honor. Thank you so much for that. Getting into the presentation, I thought it would be very important to just clarify one thing with the topic. So by landscape, I will deal with that as referring to the justice system and the legal profession. So that relevance of SAFLII would be in relation to that. Ahmed, you have given a very good background of SAFLII, but I think just to update everyone else, I think we still need to update that information that's online. So SAFLII has left the University of Cape Town from the 1st of April. So now it is a fully registered public benefit organization. Just to update that information. And I think you have given a very good background there. I don't think I need to repeat. So just to get deeper with the presentation, I think when we're looking at the relevance of SAFLII, that entire discussion, it revolves around the provision of legal information. That is where the relevance of SAFLII comes in relation to the legal profession. SAFLII is there to provide access to legal information, crucial legal information to stakeholders in the justice system and the legal profession. What is more important now is how does SAFLII do that, and to what extent, to really see how relevant it is. This is what I will be dealing with. So for this presentation, I will talk about the services offered by SAFLII, the user statistics, and how SAFLII is doing things different to give that a very good picture of what SAFLII is doing and its relevance to the legal profession and the criminal and the justice system. So looking at the role and importance of SAFLII, as you have stated in the introduction, it promotes the rule of law and justice in South Africa. And this is done through the provision of information, legal information. One cannot advance justice and the rule of law without appropriate information, up-to-date information. And so that is exactly where SAFLII comes in. And furthermore, SAFLII, it capacitates the public through their provision of information to know and to defend their rights and to check institutions that drive South Africa today. And you would have seen through the judgments that are provided by SAFLII, legislation and other material, members of the public and members in the legal profession and other stakeholders in the justice system, they rely on that information. They make reference to that information. Even during the JSC interviews, the commissioners are constantly referring to the information published on SAFLII, especially when they are interviewing the judges. So that capacitation of the public through the provision of information is really amplified when you look at how SAFLII does this. So SAFLII provides access, an online access of downloadable resources. And by providing online access, it means the audience that is reached by our services is quite broad. People that are using SAFLII, they're all over the world. And what even makes it better is that SAFLII services, that online information is provided for free. And this is critical for young advocates, new and small law firms, attorneys, who in their early days might not have sufficient financial resources. And SAFLII, by giving free access, it allows these people to thrive in the profession and in the advancement of the rule of law and justice in South Africa. In addition, even senior legal practitioners, they use our information, the information that we publish on the website. So it's really critical. But then what does SAFLII offer? The kind of information that is available from our database. SAFLII publishes the largest free access collection of South African legal information, and this includes judgments from all courts except magistrates courts, and judgments from tribunals that are usually not available, easily accessible to the public. You have legislation, free access journals, daily court rules. Those are your rules for the magistrate courts, and the uniform court rules for the superior courts. You've got municipal bylaws, government gazettes, national and provincial English legislation, and then of course a selection of Afrikaans judgments, law site, and Rule 16A notices. But the importance of SAFLII in its relevance has really been highlighted during the the COVID pandemic, where there's been a dramatic increase in the traffic of people and users visiting our website. And this is it can be understood from the restricted mobility and access that people have had during the COVID-19 pandemic, with many universities being closed and students and even other professionals not having access to libraries. So people have relied on SAFLII increasingly during this time. And the next slide will really illustrate that increased the reliance on SAFLII during this crisis, this COVID crisis. And you see here we have got information. This is user statistics for the year 2019 and 2020. If we look at unique users that are visiting that were visiting SAFLII database, in 2019 there was 2,084,474, and that increased to 3,025,908 users, making a difference in terms of percentage. This was an increment of 45.16%. It's almost a half increase of users that are visiting a SAFLII database. In terms of information pages that were viewed, there were 82 million pages that were viewed in 2019, and that increased to 106 million pages that were viewed in this 2020 was the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which means there was a 24 million difference in terms of the pages of information that were viewed, making it a 29.27% increase. And you can really see that many people, an increasing number of people, were relying on SAFLII during this COVID pandemic. And if we look at the 2020 month index of users, you will see there has been a dramatic increase, especially from April here, from 178,594 users, and the numbers were going up to 200,000, 300,000, and making a total number of users to be that is 3 million. Yeah, that's over 3 million. Over 3 million. 3 million. Let me see there. Yeah, so it's it's the same number here, 3,025,908 number of users that we had for last year. But who uses SAFLII? SAFLII serves a wide range of guests. It is used by many people, and this includes, not limited to, advocates, attorneys, law firms, law students. They use it, professionals in other fields, academics, paralegals, members of the judiciary, journalists, government officials, members of the public. They use SAFLII. So SAFLII is really important in South Africa, especially when you look at the justice system. And as you can see here in this slide, these are real-time screenshots captured from our website, looking at who is using our information and visiting the website at different times. And this was just yesterday, the 6th of October, 2021. And one screenshot was taken at 11 a.m., the other at 9 p.m. But as you can see, there is constant traffic on our website, and SAFLII cannot afford to go down or to be offline, or even to have systems as challenges, because people really rely on SAFLII. But what is SAFLII doing different in really pushing the limits of what is possible in providing free access to legal information? There is no need for one to log in on SAFLII, so it's an open website. One just has to go there. You can go on Google and go straight to the SAFLII website, get the information, and the information available on our database is fully searchable, printable, and shareable straight from the website. And even more importantly, even after hours and within short hours, when judgments are handed down, we provide updates and the uploads of those judgments, especially those of the Supreme Court of Appeal and the Constitutional Court. And unlike some other databases, SAFLII also provides access to unreportable judgments. Yeah. Also, SAFLII provides access to rulings from tribunals, and usually these are hidden from the public. They are not really accessible to the public, like the special rulings from the rulings of the special tribunal, the water tribunal. So all these are available on SAFLII in our database. And in certain instances, it's difficult for people to know what information you have. So we're taking the promotion of access to information to the next step by ensuring that we constantly update the public through social media platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, of any new information that is coming through, especially judgments that are handed. So we update our audience and the public of these information and judgments that will be coming through. As they come, we upload them and update the public. That way they will know that there is what information and where is it available. And so SAFLII also continues to broaden the information that is available on the website by continued collaborations, partnerships with contributors of information, legal information, foreign, domestic governments, just to ensure that people get more and more information for free. So this is it, colleagues, from me. Now SAFLII, since SAFLII now is a fully registered non-profit organization, it relies on the donations from the public. So if you find it in you, please donate to SAFLII, so we continue to provide free access to the public and to promote rule of law and justice in South Africa. So thank you so much. This will be the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Evidence. I'm just going to open up the platform for a brief question and answer session. Just give me 1 second to do that. Okay, Evidence. I thank you and your team at SAFLII for such an informative address. I have now opened the platform for a brief question and answer session. I reiterate to those participants that have a question relevant to the topic, kindly raise your hand, whereby you will be given the opportunity to pose such a question. Alternatively, type your question within the chat box using the Microsoft Teams platform to pose your question therein. Now, Evidence, I'm going to start off with my question. Now, while you are while you do have the ability to share screen, what I, and forgive me for my ignorance, is there's an advanced search feature on SAFLII, and I'm not too familiar with it. Would you be able to guide us through that by sharing your screen? Evidence, you muted. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm saying come again. By advanced feature, search feature, you say.
Would you be able to demonstrate to us how to use that by way of sharing the screen?
You want to use, please come again. I just want to get, what are you asking? What your question is?
I am familiar that SAFLII has an advanced search feature. However, I'm not familiar on how to use it. So for the benefit of myself and others, would you be able to, by way of sharing your screen, just briefly go through how to do that?
No, thanks. Yeah, I would have really loved to do that, but unfortunately, I haven't used this feature for me to be able to demonstrate at this point. Yeah.
Can you be able to come in?
Come again?
Karina, would Karina be able to come in?
Yes. Let me see. Can you unmute her? Probably. I think she's muted. I don't know if she'll be able to come in this one. I think she's unmuted now.
Yeah,
Hello.
Hi, Karina.
Everyone. Yeah, I mean, I can gladly help, but would I be able to share my screen?
You would.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to search, Ahmed? Give me an example.
Right. There's actually something that came to our desk recently regarding medical negligence. So could I have something on medical negligence? Aside from a motor vehicle accident.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay. So if you're going to use SAFLII's advanced search, you just click on advanced search. And so what we do is we use the words and or as advanced search operators. So say you said medical
Negligence.
Medical negligence. Sorry. And then you're going to say any of these words, okay? And you're going to say, you're going to click on SAFLII all databases and you say search. Now you'll see the difference that's, oh, hang on a sec, did I spell it right? So it gives you, say, 284 documents, okay? I'm sure we have a lot more than that. So you can either refine this by date. So if you click on by date, then it'll sort it out for you as to the latest document we have uploaded. In this instance, we've got SCA judgment uploaded. Or you can sort it by database. So you can say you want to restrict it, you just want to look at North Gauteng, for instance. You just want to look at what medical negligence documents appear in North Gauteng. So in this way, you can filter it and you can go to, do we have anything for North Gauteng? Okay, let's say South Gauteng, because that's the one that's in my eyesight. So here you see 41 documents. So you're refining your search from 284 to 41, for instance. Or by title. So this will sort it alphabetically for you. Say you're not happy going through 41 documents, right? So you're going to say, and give me another phrase, another filter.
You can a motor vehicle, so MVA or motor vehicle accident.
Let's try. Let's just try motor vehicle and see what happens. Sorry, this thing is very finicky at times.
Perhaps instead of saying motor vehicle, perhaps you can say medical negligence and codified it to medical negligence shoulder.
Sorry, medical negligence?
Shoulder.
Shoulder, like that?
Yes, perfect. That's
okay, let's see. I probably didn't find anything with the motor vehicle. So again, I'm going to go through the same thing, but I just wanted to use the Boolean search operators to show you that if you use medical negligence and say theft, no, sorry, not theft, maybe death. Let's be morbid a bit. Let's try it and see what happens. Okay, so now you're getting more documents with that. So again, you can sort out by date. You're not happy with going through 533 documents. You can sort it out by date. You can sort it by relevance. So in terms of relevance, it shows you the most accurate document on SAFLII that would contain those 3 words. I'm not sure if that really answers your question, but I'd be more than happy to share a training video we did on using search on SAFLII. In fact, it's uploaded on SAFLII's YouTube channel that shows you how to use the actual search functionality on SAFLII. It's just, if there's any other keywords, I'll be happy to go through it now, but yeah, if you're happy to do that.
I think I get the point. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Karina.
Sure.
Thank you. You can just stop sharing your screen. Thank you. There's a thank you, Karina, and thank you, Evidence. There's a question from Mohammed Patel. Mohammed Patel, you can simply unmute your mic and or your camera.
Thank you, Evidence, and thank you, Karina. Rather interactive and a brilliant question from Ahmed as always. Evidence, firstly, thank you for sharing for taking your time out today and sharing your presentation with us. It was rather informative. I, for one, have been using SAFLII from around about 2012, which was my first year of law school. Yeah. It was on our law portal, and there was SAFLII and a number of other legal resources, and always found SAFLII to be very user-friendly. And as Karina was showing us now, it's very simple to use. And even for first-year law students, I know I was bombarded with keyword searches and the like. And SAFLII was one of the first platforms I used, and where I got relevant information in relevant case law. Yeah. So it's a bit of a comment, Evan. It's not very much of a question. Yeah. The question I had, but you answered at the end of your presentation, was with regards to your funding. I had no idea that we could actually sponsor or donate to SAFLII. And I was thinking going forward, is SAFLII registered as an NPO where we can get some sort of certification afterwards to send to the taxman? And secondly, with regards to progression, will SAFLII be incorporating into other sites, like having an app or something along those lines, where we can have it on our phones for easy access? Now that we're in the digital age and being in courts and the like, having an app or something that we could peruse through without going to a different search tab and saving documents separately, which will be much more accessible on the tab, if that's in the pipeline for SAFLII. Thank you, Evidence.
No, thank you, thank you. So with the first, and yeah, I do agree with you. So I've used SAFLII from my first year. It's been really, you know, it's a friendly site to use. It's a go-to site. You know, I would really consider it a one-stop shop, you know, for legal information. I would always run to SAFLII, download the information that I need with so much ease. So with the first question, yes, you get a tax certificate upon donation to SAFLII. And yes, we do have some details on the site. But on the second one, rather, because those are more of planning. Currently, we don't have an application, but I would love to invite Karina to come in if she has got, you know, these kind of plans in her head. Karina.
Thanks, Evidence. Thank you very much for that awesome comment. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Apologies for that. But it's so nice to hear that people use SAFLII and that we've been able to help so many students along the way, you know, in their journey and their studies. And even as you become candidate attorneys and lawyers, advocates, you know, it's good to know that you continue using SAFLII. As Evidence said, we will issue Section 18A certificates because we are a registered public benefit organization. Regarding technology, so we do have an app. It's on Google Play. It is updated, but we're trying to move away from it. So we're busy developing a responsive website that would scale to your screen, whichever device that you're using. In one of Evidence's slides, you would have seen that majority of our users are mobile and desktop. In fact, it's an even split. And even as you see at 9 p.m. at night, in fact, the mobile users go up because I don't know what it is, but people seem to be relaxed at home and accessing judgments via their phones. Yeah, who knew reading a judgment would be relaxing? But yeah, so yeah, we're definitely working on improving the look and feel of SAFLII in terms of its responsiveness, scale down to all devices. Hopefully that should be coming up in the next 2 weeks or so. We're almost ready. Yeah, and then as we go along, as funding improves, as funding increases, we'd look at advancing our search functionality, for instance, and advancing like using artificial intelligence. I mean, that's the next big thing within SAFLII, how we can apply this on top of SAFLII, either doing case summaries or, you know, these are things that we'd love to get involved in, but it's all funding dependent.
Thank you, Karina.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Evidence. There's a question from Part 4. Part 4, you can simply unmute your mic and or your video camera.
Thank you so much, Evidence and Karina. I want to make a comment first and then list my 3 questions. I think the first comment I want to make is that you probably don't get feedback from users all the time like you have in this platform, but I want to say thank you so much for SAFLII. And I would like to share a particular instance in court a few years ago, where my opponent was arguing a matter in respect of a case that I presented on condonation. And it so happened that as he did his presentation, SAFLII had just posted an updated LAC decision, which, in respect of which that particular judgment had been set aside. And it was so nice to pull up my phone and pass it around up to court. This is now pre-COVID, to court, for the court to see that, in fact, the judgment had been set aside. So just so that you know how useful it is and how beneficial we find it as practitioners. In fact, I was in court today and I had referred extensively to a number of judgments I found on SAFLII. Now for my questions. The first one is, at what point would SAFLII become a portal for reported judgments? At the moment, we normally refer to it as saying the judgment is, you can find it on SAFLII, but it's not regarded as a reported judgments. I'd like to know at what point would the SAFLII judgments or judgments that are published on SAFLII be regarded as reported? The second question I have for you and Karina is the only drawback that I find in as far as SAFLII is concerned is that one can't always easily discern whether or not a judgment has in fact been overturned. When you look at a particular judgment, when reading it, there's nothing indicating to you, like with some of your competitors, if I can call them that, or your co-collaborators in this particular field, whether or not the judgment had been overturned and what the status of that judgment is. And then my last question has to do with articles where practitioners like myself who write articles would like to make that available to SAFLII on a free of charge basis. What is the process that one should follow for that to take place? Thank you so much, Evidence. Thanks, Karina.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ford, for the wonderful feedback and for the question. That would be a game changer indeed, to get a judgment popping up when you're on the stand. So that really makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for that. Karina, I think I'll just make one comment. You handle the bulk of these questions because I think you would be better suited for that. I think with regards to judgments being reportable, we do have judgments that are reportable. Some of them are marked reportable, but you would probably only see it upon downloading or when the judge would have put a heading that says reportable. So there's kind of a mix up. But Karina, you can check on this.
Thanks, Evidence, and thanks, Advocate Ford. Really nice feedback again. So, reported. As far as I know, judgments from SAFLII are admissible in court. But I'm not, I hear what you're saying about like the law reports, when would we do that? And I'm not sure if it's really necessary, but as you know, we do what we can with the limited funding that we have. And I think during COVID, we've seen how important SAFLII has become in that judges were handing down judgments, opening with the line that says released electronically to both parties and to SAFLII for publication on the website. So if that doesn't speak volumes of where the judiciary sees SAFLII and its role in reporting the judgments, then wow, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying, and that's definitely something that we are thinking about. And it's just, with funding constraints, it's just not something that we're looking at the moment. And the same thing goes for it's actually very interesting that you mentioned that, because in a team meeting 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I spoke about this very same issue. I was like, but guys, how do we differentiate? How do we show someone reading this judgment that it's been overturned or it's been it's gone to appeal or whatever the case may be. So it's definitely something that's on our radar and we are looking into it. So we're thinking in terms of our limited funding available, how do we help? So I think we did this for one judgment where we, if you're familiar with SAFLII's anonymization protocol, we generally have this bar on the top of the judgment that says it's been anonymized in line with SAFLII's policy. So we're thinking that where we follow the judgment that has been overturned, we might start including that on the top of the judgment so that the reader is aware that this has been overturned. Regarding articles, if it's free, absolutely, you're welcome to send it to us. We'll be more than happy to publish it. As you know, SAFLII is a free access provider, so we don't generally engage in anything that attracts commercial value. And if it's for free access, then absolutely, please email me, please contact me, and by all means, we'll try to publish it. The more information we make available, the better for all of us.
Thanks, Karina. I think probably with just to clarify, rather, if I may say that, does Advocate Ford mean there has to be some indication on the site that this is a reportable and unreportable judgment? Would it be what he means, and would that be possible to do? Like immediately when someone searches and opens a judgment, it's already indicated before they even open it that it's a reportable or unreported judgment, probably on the citation. Yeah.
So if I can just clarify that evidence.
Yes.
So at the moment when we speak about reportable judgments or reported judgments, we generally refer to judgments that appear within the Butterworth's family of law reports, yes, or SAFLII family of law reports.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's nothing that would prevent SAFLII from presenting the judgment insofar as the citation is concerned to say, well, this is a judgment that's reported on the SAFLII website. And by indication of the citation on the judgment, it would be sufficient proof that it is in fact considered reportable, as opposed to limiting reportability to 1 or 3 or possibly 3 publications.
Okay.
And then, just Karina, forgive me for taking so much of your time. Would it not be useful to invite engagement from practitioners? For instance, if I read a case and I, for instance, know, almost like you have this Waze map thing that you can update, where if I come across a case as a practitioner and I know that, oh, but this case has in fact matter admin set aside to allow some form of interaction with yourselves, where I can drop you an email or a note or something to the effect to say, in fact, this has been overturned, and find a copy of the Labour Appeal Court or the SEA decision in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd welcome that. Because it just makes our life easier as well. I mean, you know, we don't have capacity. And yeah, absolutely, we'd welcome it by all means. The more we engage, the better. And we'd like to keep communication open between the profession and ourselves, because primarily our biggest user is the legal profession. So yes, we definitely want to engage more. And if you have any ideas as to how we can go about doing this, I'm happy to talk offline.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I hand it over to the questions posed within the chat box, Karina, would you like to add anything to Evidence's address?
Ahmed, no, I think you did a really good job. Yeah, just I realize now that we need to update the website, but I suppose I kind of left it for when we launch the new look and feel SAFLII. So yeah, just to reiterate that SAFLII is now a non-profit organization and a registered for public benefit organization. We welcome donations. You know, this isn't a service that we provide that, even though it's free, we do have expenses that we need to meet, and all donations will we will give a Section 18A tax certificate. Yeah, and just thank you. Thank you so much for this platform, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity.
It's indeed a pleasure. Thank you. Over to Karishma for the questions that are posed within the chat box.
Okay, so there's 2 questions that have been posed. The first one is from Ahmed. What is the turnaround time post the judgment being granted to such judgment subsequently being uploaded on the SAFLII database?
Thank you, Karishma, for that. So it really depends. You know, that would be the best answer I'll tell you. And we really endeavor to upload judgments as soon as possible. So you see, if the judgment is handed down, let's say after hours, then unless it's really a constitutional court judgment or an SCA judgment or one of those very, very important judgments, then you'd have it the following day, right? And because also we don't work during the weekend, but as you can see, we have got judgments going up online throughout the day because you've got people are just waiting for emails. We wait for emails. And sometimes with certain courts, they would send a bunch of 20 judgments, and those can't be uploaded at once. So one would have to probably take some time in uploading those, in certain instances. But judgments, we put them online as soon as possible, as we can.
Okay, perfect. And then the second question is from Vishana Makan.
I think Karina wants to come in as well. I see a hand.
I'm so sorry. Can I just add to what Evidence said? Just to add to what he said, so we endeavor to put it online within the hour, especially the SCA and the Constitutional Court judgments. But what I'd like everyone to be made aware of is that not all the courts send us their judgments timeously. So like the Eastern Cape and North Gauteng, for instance, North Gauteng is the busiest court, but they send it to us in batches on a weekly basis. So not when it's handed down. So we can't get it online if we're not receiving it, you know? So it's those courts that give us a constant flow. As soon as it's handed down, it goes up immediately. But the others where they send it to us in batches, it takes a little bit longer to go online. And we keep emailing them, send us the judgments as soon as it's handed down. But it's just something we're not getting right. But those that do send it to us, it goes online as soon as possible, within the hour, especially for the SCA and the Constitutional Court.
Okay, thank you. The second question is from Vishana Makan. Hi, thank you for an informative presentation. Regarding the judgments passed on SAFLII, from how far back can judgments be found? Example, from which year? And does it vary per court? Evidence, you muted. Your mic's muted.
Sorry about that, Evidence. Your mic is still muted.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you look at the side, as to how far back you get judgments, it really depends with what court but judgments are all arranged under, in terms of the court and in terms of the year and months as well. So it really depends. If I can just give an example here quickly. If you look at the Constitutional Court, you've got judgments that goes back all the way back to 1995, and they are all grouped in months as well. I don't know if that answers that question.
Indeed. I think we're just going to wait on Krishma. I think Vishana is typing, so I just want to see if you have indeed answered the question. Evidence and Karina, on behalf of the South African Bar Association, We sincerely thank you and your team at SAFLII for such an informative address and the work that you are doing. These sessions are recorded, and the recordings can be found upon the South African Bar Association website, that being www.rsabar.net. I thank you.
Thank you, Evidence. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.